Hey guys, welcome to AI with Supreet. In today's episode, we'll talk about the prompts and we will see how to write better prompts and what are the kind of issues that I ran into when I was creating my first structured prompt, and so you can avoid them. Or the idea of this video is that when you are writing your own structured prompts, and if you run into some sort of an issues, hopefully this video will help you troubleshoot those issues. Okay, so let's start with some context. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to create a very small function here, a small app that has a plugin, has a prompt. We are reading that prompt from the file. So if you have been following along, you know that the semantic kernel allows you to write custom prompts and read them from file from your disk, and there is a certain structure that you need to create. So the structure is you have to have a plugins folder. Inside of that you can have another folder which is your name of your plugin, and that inside of the plugin you can have one or more jobs that you want that particular plugin to do. I wanted to keep it very simple. My idea is that I want to accept an input from the user where user writes a one-liner text. The text that the user inputs may and may not have a city name in it. And if there is a city name available in it, the user should be able to respond. The system should be able to respond with the output of the city name in a certain JSON format. If there is no city name available, then the output should still be in the same JSON format, but instead of the city name it should be unknown. So that's what we are trying to do here. So I copied this a prompt from one of the semantic kernel um, guides authoring your first prompt. Here is the prompt. It, although it was in C sharp, but I copied it as it is and I changed it a little. So you will see that I have it here saying find the city name. In again, let me go through this again. Plugins, then inside that plugin folder, inside that my job called find city. Inside of that, you need two files. The one that I'm using here is a skip prompt, where exactly you write the prompt, and the other one is a config file, which basically talks about what the function does and some function parameters, execution parameters, and all of that. We will focus plainly on this file today and any troubleshooting that you need to do when you are writing these prompts and how to write structured prompts properly. Okay, so you see that this was my first iteration of the prompt wherein I gave it an instruction saying find the city name from the given input, and um, and produce the output in the given JSON format. I wanted to keep it clean, so I gave it a one-line instruction. I gave it the output JSON, the format that I wanted it to follow, and the user input is of course because I copied it as it is from the learn.microsoft.com C sharp example. I left it as it is, and I'm leaving it as it is to show you something. So now what we are doing here is once we have created the kernel, given it the Azure API keys, created the kernel object, then what we are doing here is that we are creating the path where our the plugin is residing, and then feeding this path to kernel.import plugin from a prompt directory method. This method, what it does basically is, if it finds a prompt, it creates a kernel plugin output out of it that you can then use to call kernel.invoke async and then give it the name of the plugin and then the job and then any arguments, in which case in our case our argument is this input here, that the user is writing, with the expectation that we will get the city name in this JSON format. So I've been trying to do this for about half an hour now, and I've been running into a lot of issues. So, the very first issue that I'm running into is this error says tokens must be separated by one space at least. right? I could not find any useful answers on the forums, the community, the Discord, anywhere else. So I troubleshooted this on my own, and what I realized is that this error corresponds to the fact that you are using these double curly braces. The double curly braces have a special meaning in the prompt file for semantic kernel. So as soon as I remove that and I run it, then let's see. Yeah, it is able to run it, right? And then if I give it a prompt saying, let's say, I'll copy this. I plan to visit Paris in spring, and then see what happens. It again breaks the code, right? What it is now saying is that the plugin collection does not contain a plugin and or a function with the specified name. Now it's not able to find the plugin name. It's finding the function name as plugin. So for some reason, this code, rather than please remember that based on the structure, my understanding was that semantic kernel now understands that my plugin name is city detection plugin, my job name is find city, the actual prompt is residing in here. But based on this error that is happening here on this invoke async line, it appears that it is also using the details inside of my prompt to find a plugin and a function name. So the structure is being overridden by the prompt if the format of the prompt is not correct, right? Again, it took me a while to figure this out. So I the result of this, I believe, was that because I am expecting, because the config file says that there is an input here, and my prompt does not have that input. So I think I needed to change it with the input variable. So I did that. I executed the application again, and let's give it the same query again, and you see it is failing with the same problem. So then I remembered that in sk semantic kernel, if you have to give it an input, you have to give the input with double quotes like that, double curly braces like that, and with a dollar sign. So I did that, and then I run it, and it appears to run fine, but let's run it again. No, it's still breaking, right? So then let's go ahead and change it again. So this appears to be fine. I What I will do is I will also remove this, and here, instead of using double curly braces again, because double curly braces, as I said, is has a special value in semantic kernel prompt instruction. So we will leave that as it is, and again course. So the request is input, intent is like that. Okay, so I will leave it like that. Now let's run the application again and see what happens. See, it it did accept that as a valid prompt, but it did not work as expected. Remember, we wanted to give the output in this particular case as Paris in a certain JSON format. But yeah, it did not do that. So at least we were able to get past those validation issues or those compilation issues. So now it is up to the prompt. We need to fix that, right? So then I tried a different format here. I said, okay, I gave it certain further instructions like this. And so again, I just gave it the instruction saying find the city name from the given user input, provide the city name in the following JSON format. We have given it the format. If you are unsure of the city name in the given input, reply with unknown. Restrict your response to only the given output JSON format. Do not reply with anything else. Right? So we gave it a very simple um, prompt here now, and now let's run it and then run the same command again, same example again, and see what it does. Is it is probably able to find our um, answer, Paris, right? Let's give it one more example. What are the top attractions in Tokyo, and is it going to rain today? Let's see if it is able to pass a negative scenario as well. But see, in this case, it replied with unknown instead of replying in the same JSON format when it was able to find the city name. So we need to further tweak our prompt. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. What I did is I gave it some examples. So I gave it some examples and some more notes in here. So let me do that. I'll append that. So what we are saying is this, that there are some examples. Example one: if the user input is this, your output should be like that. If the user input is that, the output should be Tokyo. And if the user input does not have a city name, the output should still be in the JSON format, but with a single word resulting in as unknown. So we give it that. So the idea is to teach uh, the engine on how to respond, or how to what is correct and incorrect responses. uh, Use the given examples to learn and respond accordingly. Let's do that now. I did this, and unfortunately, it did not work well for me for some reason. So let's try and run the same samples again and see what happens. So it is saying city is unknown. See, it's I don't know why, but after I gave it some examples, it is not able to follow the instructions that I gave it previously. You remember previously when we had only this much in our prompt, it was working. It was able to give us the proper city names from the input, but it was failing when the city name was not there. It was not giving us the result in the proper JSON format, and we need it in the JSON, in the structured JSON format, because my idea is that we want to process that output and feed it to another API and get the weather report from an external weather API. But if it does not give me the result in the same JSON structured format every single time, the solution is unreliable for me, right? And this is why we gave it certain examples. But when I gave it these examples, it is not even able to identify the city name in there. See, it's not able to do that. I am visiting Jaipur next week. Now it is able to do that. Okay. um how is Paris as a city? See, the answers are not very. It's the I mean the solution is not very stable right now. Okay, so I then went ahead and further simplified it to this. So let's go ahead and delete all of this and use this prompt. And again, you see what we are doing here is we gave it simple three steps here. One is instructions, the second is user input, the last one is the output, and the input is in the input format, the output is in the JSON format that we expect it to provide the output in. And our instructions simply say that find the city name. If you cannot identify, reply with unknown. Return the result in the specific JSON format given below as the output format. So I am using the exact same words over here: output format, output format. Restrict your answers only to the output JSON format given below. No other commentary, reasoning, solution steps are needed. I When I gave it this particular prompt, I got the best results. Let's try that. So let me go and copy my example from here, and I, that example, it is able to give me the answer, and it is able to give me the answer in the correct format that I needed. Let's try once again. So again it works. Let's try once again. Let's see if it also passes a negative scenario, and it is able to do that. Let's also try something manually. I am visiting Jaipur next week. Yeah. See, so what I'm trying to say here is two information are important in this video. Number one is that if your prompt is using curly brackets or double quotes, you have to be really very careful in terms of how you're using it. Otherwise, you will run into some compilation issues, as we saw in the first half of the video. And the second thing, second takeaway from this video that I want you to understand is that writing a prompt is there is no specific way of writing proper prompts that give you expected results. It is a lot of trial and error, but you can play with a few iterations. Sometimes giving it examples would work, sometimes giving it examples will not work. In our case, it did not. So, yeah, just try and start with a very simple one liner instruction, then you try and build on top of it. That is one approach that I believe, and that is something that has been working for me. So start with a very simple approach, keep building on top of it until you have the desired results, right? uh, there is a better way of testing this than what we are doing here, and I believe we can test the prompts and their actual execution in something called Azure Prompt Flow. So I will do a video later on wherein we will see how to see the exact execution of a given prompt. What are the steps the AI takes, and where it fails, where it passes, all of that using Azure Prompt Flow. I hope this video is helpful. And when you are writing your own prompts, um, you'll be able to use this for either troubleshooting or to write prompts that gives you the expected output as you need. So yeah, thanks a lot. Bye.